how to prepare yourself for the visa interview. This doesn't matter whether it's American visa, Canadian visa, visa to go to any European country, visa to go to Australia, visa going to New Zealand. How do you prepare for these visas? You must know that good preparations increase your chances of getting the visa. Poor preparations for the visa interview is a recipe for you to be rejected, your visa to be denied. So you have to prepare yourself. And by preparation, I don't mean start today to memorize the questions. That is not the meaning of preparations. Preparations, there are items you need to know. There are aspects of the documents required. There are aspects of what to talk or what to say, what not to say. There are aspects of appearances. So there are so many things you need to be aware before you appear to any consular officer of any first world country if you are interested to get the visa. But in order to do that, I want you to understand there are two major types of visas wherever you go. But let's say the case of the United States of America. There are visas which we call non-immigrant visas and immigrant visas. They might be called other names in other countries, but what explanation I'm going to give is going to cover the two. Non-immigrant visa, just like you can see, it starts with the prefix non. It means not. So it's the visa which doesn't give you the status of being immigrant. We usually do use the word immigrant just to generalize any person living in any other country. But in American law, Immigration and Nationality Act, immigrant is different from non-immigrant. So non-immigrant visa is the visa you get for not intending to become immigrant. In the simplest way, I can say, immigrant is a permanent residency status. Non-immigrant is not a permanent residency status. When you apply for non-immigrant visa, you are applying to come to the United States. You are applying to go to Canada. You are applying to go to England for any type of visa with no intention of being permanent of that particular country. The visas are so many in that type of category. That's you find the student visa is there. You find the tourist visa, business visa, exchange scholars visa, you come business visa. There are so many researching, coming to teach, whatever, employment. All those visas are temporary visas. That means you can get a job contract of 5 years, so you're expected to work for 5 years, not as permanent resident of that country, just as professional visa or professional worker in that particular country. And immigrant, it means from day one. So for instance, a Kenyan lady gets married to a British citizen. The Kenyan lady will be able to process special type of visa to go to relocate and have the family together with the spouse who is a British. You get permanent residency status based on the marriage. So those people are going there on permanent. They're expected to go to live with their spouse for the rest of their life, to become permanent of that particular country. If an American gets married to a foreigner, that foreigner will be given green card, or rather we say permanent resident card. So people who are coming here, either they have won the diversity visa program, they have come here direct with the family sponsorship. Family sponsorship can be father sponsoring a child is sponsoring a parent, then marriage, fiancé visas, green card by employment. All those one are what we call the immigrant visa. You are coming from day one, you are intending to stay in the United States for the rest of your life, permanently. So those visas, their questions and documents required for the immigrant visas are different from the questions and documents required from non-immigrant visas. But in this video, I want to share with you to give both what will be the overall reasons or overall preparations you need to have. So number one, preparation. Obviously, you need to have a reason why you are applying that visa. The reason you have will determine the type of visa to apply. For example, if you want to come to study in the United States, you have to, first of all, to apply for a school, get admission for school, then you prove that you'll be able to pay for that school, whether from your own pocket or through scholarships. The same way, if you apply to Canada, you apply as a student, you need to have everything to prove that you are coming for studies. You want to go for a visit, you have to prove that you want to go there for a visit. There are documentations required. You want to come here to work, you need to have employment. Employer has to give all the documentations which are required, and you have to apply appropriate visa. You cannot come here as someone coming to work as a full-time employee, but you have the visa as a student, because each visa type has its own requirements, has its own regulations while you are in that particular country. So number one, you need to have a reason why you want to apply, the reason to go to that particular country, and the reason will determine what type of visa you want to apply. Number two, once you determine, all these are preparation, once you determine my reason I want to go there as a student, for instance, I say I want to be as a student, so you have to find who is going to pay for that school. Is it me or the school? So if the school, that means you have to apply for scholarships. There are ways to apply to get scholarships. You get admission, you get a scholarship. Once you get those, then you can be able to apply as a student visa. You want to visit someone, you have to get invitation. You have to have all the other documentation to prove that you want to go for that particular visa type. So there are, each type, it has its own requirements. Requirements as a visitor are vastly different from someone coming as an international student. Visitor, you can have your own reason. I'm going there for a funeral, I'm going there for a wedding, so I'm expecting to stay for a month. But you don't need to have admission for the college while you are coming for a visitor. But if you are applying as a student, admission, in the US we call I-20. You have to prove that you're going to pay, they give that one, then you are going to apply for the visa. Bank statement, all those kind of things they need to, for them to see before they allow you to be able to go there. So you need to have documentations appropriate to that particular visa type. Apart from the documents, you need to prepare for that particular interview itself. But before you go to the interview, you have to fill the visa form. So there are major two, there are different, but there are major two types of visa form. Non-immigrant visas, people using that type of visa have to apply using what we call DS 160. That is non-immigrant visa. Immigrant visas, like the V Lottery program winners, green card by marriage, and any other green card which is immigrant visas, they fill the DS 260. That's the difference. We're starting from there. So on the visa interview, if someone is married to an American citizen, has to prove that they are married to an American citizen, marriage license, or marriage certificate if you call that, but in the US they call it marriage license. You need to show, even you have bank statement, bank together, joint assets, whether joint account, or apartment you stay together, you own the house together, the car you are together, on the taxes maybe you filed together if you have filed the tax already. If you have a child together, all those are evidences that to prove that this is a bona fide marriage. If you are the V Lottery program winner, you need to have documentation. You need to have your confirmation number, case number. You need to have the passport you used to apply. You need to have all the form they are going through, the form you filled. If you say you have bachelor degree, you need to have transcript. If you say you have 5 years of work experience, show that work experience, documentation, proof. All those kind of things are important when you go to the interview. The people who are going for the non-immigrant interviews, they have to prepare even more, because they have to prove to the consular officer that I'm going to the United States, I'm going to Sweden, I'm going to Norway, I'm going to Japan, I'm going to this particular country with intention of coming back to my country once the period I have requested to stay in the country is over. I'm going for the wedding. I'm going to attend the funeral. Funeral will be for 2 weeks. I'll extend maybe 1 more week. So after 3 weeks, I'll be coming back to my country. How do you convince the consular in that way? You need to prepare documents which support that. It's not about your words that I love my country, I'm very patriotic, I plan to do this. They don't care about your words. They want to see documents. I own industry. I own this type of business. I have 5 acres of this kind of farm, whatever. I have this kind of investment. Show the assets so that you cannot be convinced to stay in that particular country. What type of job do you have? What type of business do you have? What is your annual income? They look all those kind of areas, not your words. And also the documents, again, if you are married, I've already said, but tax return, if you have married, like there are so many other documentations. You are the winner of the lottery, there are those. If you are applying green card by employment, there are all those kind of things of that particular nature. So the day you are going for the interview, how do you prepare yourself? You have to wear, we call business casual. I mean, they don't care much because it's but sometimes your appearance, because sometimes some of those visas are subjective. So if you go there and you appear at the US embassy, you have the t-shirt with American flag burning, that is not a good sign. You're going to the consular office of Canada with Canadian flag burning, or the picture of the the prime minister of another country falling down. I don't go to give you the visa because I know you are not a good person, you don't have good intentions to my country. So even what you wear can matter a lot. Another thing is, don't put too much cologne, too much perfume. Especially in our countries, we are used to put too much perfume. You do not know if you go there who is allergic. Nowadays, so many people have different allergies. Someone can be allergic to certain type of smell or certain type of perfume. So use just deodorant if you want, just smaller, but don't put too much. You think that you go there, someone is just, oh, that is smell or everything, can deny you the visa. As I said, yes, you have admission error, but still it's subjective. It's not a guarantee to be given the visa. That is another way to prepare yourself. Wear business casual. You don't need to wear a tie, like all suit, whatever. It's not a big deal. But to wear decent, if you wear jeans, but not the ripped jeans, no. Wear just a normal, nice jeans, kind of, if you want to wear jeans. If you wear a t-shirt, just a nice t-shirt. But not like those like Kanye West style of clothing. No, don't go like Kanye West. Someone can just be upset with you and just don't give you the visa. And then you can be getting disciplined with that. Then it comes to the actual interview. How do you prepare that? So, don't waste your time to start memorizing the questions. There are general questions. If you're a student, they will ask you questions based on these type of topics. But don't start, okay, what is your name? Like you start memorizing, what is my name? My name is Ernest. Like, there are things you don't need to memorize. How did you find this university if you are coming as a student? Obviously, yes, you applied. Oh, I just asking, I went to the US Embassy website and got the list of various universities. So, I attended this seminar online and someone, alumni from this university, they were doing presentation. You know how you found the university. So, only the information on the process. So, when we say prepare for the interview with the questions, don't go and memorize every single question. But you have to know what are the possible questions might ask from this type of visa. As a student, there are questions about students. Oh, so what do you plan to do after graduating with that program? If you are applying for non-immigrant visa, as I said, you have to indicate that you are coming back to your home country. So the questions, they can ask you, will you come back to your home country after studies? Or what makes you come back once you finish your master's? But the person who applied and won the diversity visa program doesn't need to show that, because it's coming on permanent, so they doesn't need to show that I have these assets so that I can come back to my country. You are coming to live in the US as a permanent. So you have to know the possible questions in that category of visa type, so that when you answer, you have the documents. On that interview date, don't volunteer either documents or information without being asked. So if someone asks the question, I'm giving an example. You are going to visit the person. How long will you stay? Just say, I will stay for 3 weeks. Remember, the information you're going to put there, it has to be compatible with the visa form. If on the DSC 160 or 260, you said, 160 because 260 is immigrant, I'm going to ask for visiting visa to stay for 3 weeks, but when it's asking how long are you going to stay, you are changing the answer. Say, I'm going to stay there for 1 year. Obviously, you do not know what you want. And you say, I'm going, so even if you plan to extend, don't start to say, you already said I'm going to stay for 3 weeks. I'm staying for 3 weeks, but if I get someone to marry me, I'm going to get married there. Don't volunteer that information. By volunteering that unnecessary information, even if it is in your heart, they know you are planning to come here, not to visit, but you want to come here to become permanent resident, but I'm going to deny you. So you have to find a way to answer what you are told, what you are asked. If they ask you a question, are you associated with any group related to crime, whatever, something like that? The answer is yes or no. So don't start the story. Remember, but my uncle used to be in that gang. They haven't asked about your uncle. Just answer what you are asked. Are you in any group? So yourself, they didn't ask about your uncle. They ask you. The answer is no. Or the answer is yes. Short and clear. Remember, the interview, all of the interview is less than 3 minutes. If it goes too much time, it's 5 minutes. So it's straight. But if there are some people who are not comfortable to use English, you are allowed to use the national language of that particular country, as long as you inform them you need an interpreter. For the green card lottery winners, for instance, you have to go with your interpreter. And I think this is like a student, wherever, they will have an interpreter there, but you have to ask in advance. So don't force to speak English if you are not comfortable using English. Go there and say, I want to speak Swahili. Go there and want to speak this language. You let them in advance so that either they prepare or you prepare, you go with your interpreter in that way. That means when you answer the question, you don't say, I didn't know what you meant, I didn't understand what you mean. They better sure you understand what they mean. Unless otherwise you are applying for a student visa, and you do not know even a single word of English, and you are programming, you are not coming for the English as a second language, you are just coming to start, they know, no. There is something fishy here. So you will be denied the visa in that way. So those are some of the ways on how you can prepare yourself for the interview of any visa. Those are the things will be able to increase your chance. Documents. If they ask you, show me the invitation letter, you have the invitation letter. Oh, student, show me the student, show me the bank statement, show me the admission. You need to have all those kind of things. You are married, show me the marriage license, show me the asset you have, you as a husband and the wife. You have all those documents. Be ready. It's not about talking too much. That means you think you are convincing them. They are convinced with evidences and documents. That's how it works.